Hi guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Won't Grow Up podcast. If you saw episode 1, it was where we kind of came up with the name of the podcast and the whole creative process around that. And you can watch that on YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Won't Grow Up.
Won't Grow Up podcast. If you search that, we come up.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah,
You search the name of our podcast.
So who are you? Tell them in case this is their first episode.
Oh, yeah, that will probably help.
Yeah.
My name's Kat Fyson, and this is...
Liamettes. We're a couple, 7 years and counting.
Yep.
So this episode is all about why are we doing a podcast?
Yep. And we kind of touched upon that a little bit in the first one, but we thought we'd go into the reasons why we decided to kind of take the leap, so to speak. Because we've been talking about it for a little while.
Yeah, I think because I do a podcast, as if you'd have watched last episode, you'd know this. And you might just know that if you follow me on Twitter.
If you're one of his avid fans.
If you're a fan of a Nerd on Nerd, the Liamettes, they're called.
The Liamettes.
So yeah, I already do a podcast, but
it's the first time for me.
I wanted to do one with you.
Yeah.
Because I think I get to see like a side of you that's just incredibly weird.
and you want to share that with the internet.
Yeah, well I think it's going to take some time for you to get comfortable with being in front of the camera, with me next to you.
Yeah.
But like I'm hoping that as we go on this podcast journey, little flashes of your weirdness will start shining through until eventually you're just like proper letting your freak flag fly. Because I feel like I already do that on Nerd on Nerd. Like we have kind of no topics that are off limits. So
no, and I would like to think that it's going to be the same sort of thing with this, within reason.
Yeah, like I one of our early Nerd on Nerd episodes, we talk about manscaping. So maybe that could be a topic for a future one here.
Ladyscaping.
Or just,
scaping.
Body grooming.
Body grooming.
Because I've got a lot to say about that.
Episode that's going to be about body grooming.
Yeah, but that's future. Today
we are talking about why we chose to do a podcast.
Yeah.
You want to unleash my inner weird. I think my reason for wanting to do a podcast, or at least one of the reasons, is because it's not something I've done before. Yeah. I've done a blog and I've kind of tried to dabble in YouTube. And
how do they find your blog?
moreaboutcat.co.uk.
Up for a blogging award, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is up for blogging guru. Apparently I know my shit about blogging.
I should hope so.
I should hope so too. But yeah, so I've kind of dabbled in YouTube a little bit, but never really, other than guesting on your podcast, done any podcast stuff. And I've noticed that it is becoming more and more popular now, doing podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. There seems to be a lot of podcasts out there.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing for us to think about and maybe discuss in this episode is what makes us unique. Like there's so many podcasts and stuff out there. Why should you spend your time watching this?
That's a good question that I'm not entirely sure I know the answer to. Other than I'm hoping that we will bring something different. I haven't really listened to any other couple podcasts, but I assume that maybe they would be more along the lines of typical coupley things.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we should talk about the sort of podcasts that we do listen to and that sort of thing. Like I do listen to a couple of coupley podcasts. I think the one that I enjoyed the most has stopped now, which is a shame. But it was really, for me, kind of fun, just getting a look at how another couple operates and that dynamic, getting like a little glimpse into what is essentially quite a personal relationship, and seeing, kind of being able to maybe relate to some of the things. And then there's other things, like, for example, these guys lived in New York, so they were talking about what that kind of life was like. Yeah. And that was really interesting.
I would like to listen back to that, because that might give me more of an idea of exactly what we want to do with this.
Love at First Pizza, it was called.
Love at First Pizza.
Which it was really good, but I haven't seen them upload an episode in a while now, so...
Hopefully that doesn't mean that they're no longer a couple.
Hopefully. But yeah, so I listen to a lot of movie podcasts.
Yep.
So things like Amanda's Picture Show A Go-Go. And she does a podcast with her family called Culture Pop A Go-Go.
See, I really want to listen to that, because I love the idea of like a family doing a podcast.
Yeah, it's really
I think it's
good.
because I can't picture like me sitting down with my family.
No, I can't picture that.
But I don't think you could with your family either, really.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, because it's her and her sisters and her mum.
Yeah.
And while they talk about different like cultural poppy things.
Yeah.
The thing,
cultural poppy things.
The thing that's most enjoyable about listening to that, is again the dynamic between them. And I always find like the podcasts that I tend to gravitate more towards, it's not always necessarily about like what they're talking about, but it's the
relationship between the two people.
Yeah,
I think that's what's enjoyable about your podcast as well.
Thanks very much.
I can sit and listen to an episode even if you're like, because they do on Nerd they do like a culture swap thing. That's kind of how it was built up, wasn't it? Really, it started with culture swap, and some of the other bits have kind of come in a bit later.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not massively interested in what the culture swap is. I still like listening to the episode because I like listening to you and Jack argue.
Yeah.
That's what's the most enjoyable thing about listening to...
I didn't know that this was going to become why you like Nerd on Nerd, but I'm 100% okay with that. That's just, more why you...
No, that's enough of that.
No, why you love Nerd on Nerd so much, and also why you're a Liamette.
I feel like after 7 years in a relationship with you, I kind of have to be a Liamette. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
I'd be livid if you were a jack off.
Jack off.
That's what we call his fans.
Well, that's what you call his fans.
Yeah, they're the jack offs.
Anyway, let's stop talking about Nerd on Nerd. This isn't about Nerd on Nerd.
No.
Let's talk about other podcasts.
Well, another one again that I like. Sorry, no, Atlantic Screen Connection. Again, not necessarily for what they talk about, but it's the dynamic between the two hosts.
Yeah, but I do also like the way in which they talk about the stuff they talk about.
Yeah, they're a film podcast, but they approach these films from a very like academic standpoint, and they do analyse in quite a lot of detail, which I quite like because it takes me back to my uni days. Yeah,
because you're less like that now because it's been a while since you've studied film academically.
And I'm lazy.
And you're lazy, but you can still be a little bit like that about movies, so it must be good to kind of hear like a common voice. But...
Yeah, because I can't really like sit down with you and like really analyse. Like we talk about films a lot, but we don't kind of start analysing and putting like
a point where I'm just like, I just thought the film was good. Yeah. Or, I didn't really like it.
We can't like start applying film theories to these things.
Start talking about the mise en scène
or the auteur.
I mean, at least I know what that is now.
Yeah, but it's quite fun listening to a podcast where they do go into that level of detail with things.
Yeah.
Because I get to like kind of live vicariously through that.
Through their academic reasoning around films. Yeah. Fair enough.
So those are some of my favourite podcasts I listen to.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing a couple that I'm going to feel bad about, but
you've covered the main ones that you probably listen to regularly.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm only just really starting to get into listening to podcasts. So one that I probably listen to the most would be The Nerdist. I went through a phase of like whenever I went to the gym, I would listen to The Nerdist. Yeah. And I'm now trying to sort of branch out a bit. And one that I've listened to recently that I thought was quite funny was another like film one, but it was more kind of pop culture, like mostly film, but some TV and stuff, was All the Good Names Are Taken.
Yeah.
Which are these two guys, I'm not entirely sure where they're from. I think it's somewhere in America.
Okay.
And they basically just hash it out over films, not academically at all, so completely different to Atlantic Screen Connection. But they're just quite funny.
That's good.
And that's a big thing for me, and I hope that this is going to be funny. Or
hopefully,
become funnier over time as we get more comfortable with the format.
Yeah, because I think doing like video stuff is, I don't want to say new for both of us, but we've never done it together really.
No,
we've dabbled.
I've done a fair amount of video because I used to do it for work as well, but yeah, I don't know why. Like, it's not necessarily uncomfortable sitting in front of a camera and talking.
No.
But whilst we're kind of settling into what this is.
Yeah, and we're still figuring that out. I think another kind of key thing to bear in mind with this is we don't have like a rigid set template in place.
I mean, you can tell already from this episode it's an absolute mess in terms of structure.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So should I talk a bit more about the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. You just sort of went off on one when I was talking about podcasts that I listened to.
I didn't realise.
Yeah, you've gone off on one a little bit. But anyway, I digress. So I've started downloading a few other other podcasts, and I think that's kind of where we're going to see where our differences are in what we want to listen to.
Oh yeah, because you have a very different set of interests to me. So I can see...
like I'm still interested in film and pop culture and stuff like that as well, but because I'm also a blogger, I'm quite interested in that, like blogging as an industry and how people are kind of making themselves known online and building a brand and all that stuff. So I've started downloading a couple of things that have been recommended. Like there's a fairly new podcast called Made Online.
Okay.
Which is basically somebody talking to different online creators about how they got to where they are now. So I'm quite looking forward to that one. And there's Being Boss and a couple of others that are along the same lines where they just talk about how they kind of found success online, what that means to them and the business side of stuff. So that sort of thing interests me.
And are these all audio only podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like what we're doing is a bit rarer. Like
video.
We're not the first ones to do it, obviously, but we are like, it's a smaller percentage, and we need to make this audio too.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
Planning on doing soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, my listening to podcasts is fairly limited.
But you did recently listen to a live recording of the Smodcast.
Which I have to admit is kind of what gave me that final push towards us like getting started with doing it.
Yeah.
So at the London Film and Comic Con, they had like an after show event. So we didn't go along to the con at all, but we found out about this evening event, and it was going to see Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier.
Yeah.
Perform the right word? Record.
I think it's a performance in front of an audience like that, I think, as well.
It was a live recording of their Smodcast.
Yeah, which has been going on, it was their decade anniversary.
10-year anniversary. And it was really cool that they did it in London too, because we don't get a lot of that cool stuff, really, in the grand scheme of things. Kevin Smith doesn't come over here very often anyway, so that was really cool. But seeing that live was really, really like genuinely inspiring. And I think that Kevin Smith is like, he's not like a cheesy motivational type person, but he just kind of makes it seem a lot more accessible to creative things.
I think he is quite good at kind of doing the right words to get that motivation kind of instilled in you.
But I think it's because a lot of people sort of say, you know, go and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But he just does it in a different way that kind of is more like, just try.
But also I think he is like proof of that working as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like he told this amazing story because his mum was there.
Yeah.
And his family were actually sat in the row in front of us, which was kind of...
His mum was like in the chair in front of me.
Yeah, she was literally right there. And he, later on in the recording, he called his mum up the stage and he told this whole story how basically he had to borrow $3,000 to get a movie made.
There's to get, I think, the film. So he hired out like the cameras and the equipment, but he needed the actual film stock.
Yeah. So he, like, basically his mum and dad put that money towards it, and that's what made the film happen.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it sounds really boring the way I'm describing it.
Yeah, but he's such a like good wordsmith.
Yeah, he's a really good storyteller. And it was just really inspirational that somebody that's in the position that he's in now started from a position where it could have just all gone kaput at that stage, and he never would be as known as he is now.
Yeah, definitely.
In theory. So that was really inspirational. And seeing, like, because their podcast is essentially just them
talking and catching up.
And they probably, like, it probably wasn't anywhere near as eloquent as it is, well, eloquent if that's the right word, but like as structured and formulated as it was. So it wasn't in the beginning as structured and formulated as it is now. Yeah. And
well, it takes time to kind of get those sort of things in place.
Yeah.
Which I think we're going to discover when we do this.
Yeah,
like this episode, structurally,
All
probably
over the place.
not the best. But it's going to take us time to start hammering out what the structure is.
Yeah.
Like, there's a huge elephant in the room that everyone watching this is probably going to be like, why aren't they addressing this thing?
What's that thing?
I got a haircut. If you'd have seen the last episode, hair was a mess.
Yeah, I've also had a haircut, and I'm hoping that my hair looks less of a mess, because it was pretty...
Both had haircuts. And, you know, we should have probably...
started with a nice little update.
Yeah.
So we're learning a lot as we go along.
Yeah, so that's, I think, another good thing for us doing this is the learning experience
I
that it's
feel
going
like
to
we
provide
need to decide what, like, a very loose structure. Okay, at the beginning we're going to do a little update, and then we're going to do, like, whatever the core topic is.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Which
which we'll figure out as we go along.
Not done this time.
Yeah.
So maybe we could just do it
next time.
Next time. Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's I'm hoping that's also going to be part of the fun of watching this.
It's watching us figure up for a long time.
But watching us figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you're coming in here, you could potentially like be seeing the beginnings of what would hopefully maybe later be greatness.
I hope so.
But at the moment, maybe less so.
At the moment, a bloody mess.
Maybe. But yeah, so are there any other reasons why you want to do a podcast with me?
Specifically with you?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I wrote like a little list.
Because I gave a very specific reason about why I wanted to do this with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't had a good reason why you want to do this specifically with me.
Well, it's because I'm such a Liamette, you know. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness.
Oh, well, I mean, you don't have to feel like that, you know. I am but a mere humble human like the rest of you.
But I mean, let's just get real and say that the reason that I want to do this...
So was that not real before?
No, that was just to humour you there. Yeah. The reason that I wanted to do a podcast with you as a couple is because I feel like a lot of what is out in the world about couples at the moment, whether that's through their own podcasts or blogs or the media or whatever.
Social media, sharing pictures.
All that stuff. Is like, it follows, I mean, this isn't everyone, but it follows a trajectory of what you expect a couple to want in terms of their life goals and their interests and their hobbies and stuff. And I wanted to put something out that's different to reflect that our sort of interests and life goals and the coupley stuff is different. Yeah. Like, we don't want a lot of the sort of more traditional stuff that other couples want.
Like babies?
Babies, marriage.
None of that.
No.
I ain't marrying you.
I ain't marrying you either, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, but I mean, that's not something that either of us are interested in.
No, like, maybe moving forward we might go into more detail about why that is without it turning into some sort of like couples therapy.
Yeah, that could be an interesting episode that will alienate any couples that would potentially watch this.
Or maybe not though. There might be couples like us that like love each other, have been together a long time and want to keep it that way, but don't really feel the need to get
it's
married.
Always good to have an escape clause. Do you know what I mean? Like, marriage just makes that so much harder.
Yeah. But we would have to like have our names together on stuff.
Oh, nah.
No.
None of that, please.
No, none of that.
I like, you know, what we do.
Yeah.
I think it works well.
This works. It's worked for a long time.
We don't like we don't really share our finances or anything. We kind of, what you earn is yours, what I earn is mine. We like treat each other to stuff.
Yeah.
But we're not like, you know, we don't have a shared account.
I can't even imagine having a joint account.
No. It would cause so many arguments. Because I'd be like, oops, I just bought this new thing. And you'd be like, that came out of the joint account. Why did you do that?
Why did you spend my money on that stupid thing that doesn't have a purpose?
And then you'd be like, well, I've gone to Cath Kidston and now I'm really blogging. And I'd just be like, oh, man.
Really blogging. I don't think you realise a lot of bloggers don't even own anything from Cath Kidston.
No, I know. I think the thing is...
You just see it as blogging.
I see the products that Cath Kidston sells, which, for any American listeners, is this, like, British...
It's very British, yeah.
And they make the sort of products that, to me, feels like they're making them to try to deliberately appeal to a very bloggy type of audience.
Yeah, but my mum really likes Cath Kidston.
She should have a blog.
Can you imagine?
Shouldn't she?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so we don't want to get married. I hate the idea of having a joint account and all that stuff.
What I'm curious about
Yeah.
is when we get to like a topic that we disagree on and we just have an argument on camera.
Can you imagine if that was like the moment? Like, this is definitely not going to happen. But can you imagine if that was the moment when I was just like, I want a baby? And that happened.
I would feel like this was a prank, to be honest.
Yeah,
if you
it
like,
would be. It would
totally.
On. Yeah, it would be totally a prank. I hate kids.
Yeah, I'd be like, you'd have to go find someone else to give that to you then. Like, I don't even want you to have a dog.
I know. That's
the only sort of baby you want. You want a little fur baby.
I want a little fur baby.
I'm allergic to dogs, and also don't want them.
No, the problem you've got is that you love dogs, but you're allergic to them, and so it's difficult.
But I also don't want to have the responsibility of having my own dog either. Like getting up early to walk it, to feed it, to take it to the vets. Eventually, it's going to die, and I'm going to feel sad about that. I don't want to go through any of that.
Okay.
I want to be friends with people with dogs.
Okay, I will grind you down, but for now,
how stubborn am I?
We'll see. How stubborn am I?
Have you ever managed to grind me down about anything?
Nothing springs to mind, although you did do some washing up yesterday, which was impressive.
That wasn't you grinding me down. You asked politely, and I was like, well, some of it is mine, so I probably should.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that really counts.
Okay, fine. Well, maybe I haven't then, but that might be the first thing. We don't know. It could happen here. On camera, I could grind you down until you give in. Getting a fur baby.
The only way to do that is to like arrange a date with Scarlett Johansson and me,
right? And
then have her ask me while I'm distracted by all of her lovely bits.
Yeah, just bring the tone right down.
Yeah. So anyway,
right down.
That's what's going to happen. You need to be prepared for that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we started low when we talked about manscaping. And then we brought the tone up.
I deliberately brushed over that quite quickly, really.
We brought that up.
Yeah.
And now it's going to ebb and flow. This podcast, there'll be an ebb and a flow. It's fine.
Well, it's to be expected, to be honest. And
yeah.
We should set the expectations.
Yeah, we are both slightly different in that respect. Like, I'd say you kind of are a bit more, I don't want to use the word precious, but it's the only one that's coming to mind, about your like online presence.
Well, I've built it up over a long time.
So have I.
I've worked I think it's because I've worked in it in a career.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be talking about my lady bits and your
This will come
bits.
up. Oh, my manly bits will come up.
Yeah, I am aware.
Yeah.
We'll just cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. Something to look forward to. Cliffhangers. That's how you keep them coming back. Lost.
Yeah.
What we need is a big like question, and then we answer it with other questions, because Lost did really well.
Yeah. What sort of questions?
I don't know.
No, you've not thought this through, have you?
Not at all.
Although if anybody wants to ask some questions for us to answer...
Segue, I like that. Yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
How can they do that? I'm going to see if you remember what the email address is.
They can tweet us.
So you can tweet us at wontgrowuppod.
Yeah.
Or you can email us at wontgrowuppod@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that it for the reasons of why you wanted to do the podcast?
Well,
because I feel like we're missing a really big one.
List. What's the big one?
Well, I want to do it just because I think it'll be fun.
Well, yeah, that just goes without saying. Otherwise, we
should say it.
Okay, we want to do a podcast because we think it might be fun.
I mean, can we try and say it in a way where it's not some sort of like weird hostage situation?
There's a gun behind my head.
We would like to do this because we think it would be fun. Please send help.
No, I do think it's going to be fun. I think I need to warm into it a little bit more first, and I think that we need to develop the structure. I'm very used to being in front of a camera. That doesn't bother me.
No, but with me here distracting you.
No, well, the thing is you go off on a tangent, and I'm thinking about something I'm going to say next. And then you go off on like 3 separate tangents. I've forgotten that thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to be a bit more thinking.
Well, you need to do a lot less of that.
What's wrong with that?
Because then I don't forget things.
I can't help it. I think that's another key thing is the way our brains work is very different.
Yeah.
You're very structured and organised.
Must have a plan.
I'm just like organised chaos.
Yeah, you're just all over the place.
Yeah, and that I think is going to be, for me, one of the fun things seeing this.
I think people are going to wonder how we
stay together. Yeah, people probably wonder that already.
Yeah, probably. Our closest friends probably are.
Yeah, and especially when we start arguing, like, there'll be an episode where you're crying and I'm probably just making things worse. And, you know.
I mean, I would hope that you wouldn't bring me to tears on an episode of a podcast.
I promise nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've wrapped it up, and this is us.
Yeah.
That's why we want to do a podcast.
That's why we want to do a podcast. Okay.
Now the real question.
Yeah.
That we asked earlier, but we didn't get an answer. Is why should they want to watch us do a podcast?
I don't know.
And I think that's something for them to answer.
Yeah.
They need to take it up with themselves and think.
Why the hell are we listening to this?
No, not in that way.
No,
but in the in the why? What do they find? Like, maybe they could tell us what they like about it, because then
maybe they can relate to what we are like and how we've come across as a couple so far.
And the things that they do like, we could do more of. And if they're like, I don't like this so much,
I feel like we've not given them enough yet.
Not yet, but over time.
Over time.
Because they might be like, oh, we want more Liam, he's amazing. And we want less Kat.
I mean,
and then what we'll do... I
feel like you've got more than enough Liam.
Is we'll just have an episode of just me.
No.
Yeah, no, I think we should have more about cat.co.uk.
Thanks for the plug again.
So, I'm good at that.
I feel like we will be able to have, like, our sort of separate moments, so to speak, when we have more specific topics to talk about, because you can pose your opinion, I can pose mine, and then we will fight it out to the death.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Maybe not to the death.
Well, depends on the topic. Depends how much you wind me up.
That's true. So thank you for listening and watching.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, if they're watching, they're also listening.
No, so they can have it on mute.
That's not going to be very interesting, is it?
No.
No.
It's not.
Or maybe more interesting. I don't know.
They could also leave us topic ideas of things that they want us to talk about, couldn't they?
Yeah, that would be really good, because we're obviously very new to this and are trying to come up with ideas ourselves.
We've got a couple in the bank.
Okay.
So we're not like let's not.
We're not desperate.
Yeah, we're not like hard up for ideas.
Please.
We've got a couple in the bank.
Yeah.
But we want to have, you like to have your lists and your organisations and all that stuff. I think personally, we could just turn this on and it could just be like 30 minutes of me winding you up, and I'd love that. But I also feel like I'd be the only one that loves
exactly. that. So yeah, topic suggestions are welcome via Twitter and email.
Yeah.
So wontgrowuppod on Twitter and wontgrowuppod@gmail.com on email.
There we go.
There we go. And we will see you guys soon.
Well, a bit more confidence. More confidence. Like,
okay.
They've loved this.
Yeah,
they're definitely going to come back.
They're coming back every fortnight.
Yeah. So, come on.
Okay. We will see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.